We came to the Joint Forces Base. That's a Thunderbird right there. That's the Air Force stunt, wow, plane. Ben, can you see? Look at the plane. Do you see the plane? Where's my phone? Well, hey allies, thanks for tuning in for debate night round 2. Coming to Bevmo to refuel my stock because I drank everything in the house, passed out, and I, you know, barely woke up. What time is it? 7 o'clock. That's kind of my thing. Everybody always said, like, I have that big orange cup. It's 10 bucks though. Right? Isn't that a bit... What do I drink?
Beer.
I do drink beer.
No.
I do. That's champagne though.
But you don't drink champagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot has changed. Day 2, part 2 of the debates. I had to break this up in 2 parts. This is just a lot of material, trying to cover it in a nice little tasty morsel of a video. So let's get started right away. What we talked about yesterday, we covered some gun rights stuff, we covered some things about the judicial system, we covered some stuff about Syria, we talked about the stimulus plans of both candidates, and so diving right back in, we ended with we ended on the Hillary plans just like the Obama plan. So we've got to go through the rest of this, which I believe is another hour or 45 minutes, so plenty of stuff to talk about. Let's get started right away. You didn't like my haircut? Get a haircut today. Yeah.
Simple question. She's been doing this for 30 years. Why the hell didn't you do it over the last 15, 20 years? You were very much involved. Excuse me. My turn.
Excuse me. My turn.
And you do have experience. I'd say the one thing you have over me is experience, but it's bad experience because what you've done has turned out badly. For 30 years, you've been in a position to help. And if you say that I use steel or I use something else, I make it impossible for me to do that.
This is one of those things that pisses me off. If you were a business owner and your job was to build this building in which you were going to make millions, if not billions of dollars off of, and a Chinese person came to you and said, I have cheap building material for you, it is completely legal for you to buy, you should buy it. Why would you not buy it? So you could put a Made in America sticker on the side of your building? Like, I get it, like it is expensive to buy American products. That's why largely Americans should get out of those product areas. I sound the way I do, but those are low-skilled jobs. We need to move into higher-skilled jobs. I'm not saying we all have to do it now, but over time, we got to start thinking rationally and talking about going away from those areas, like the harsh conditions of smelting iron building materials. Is that not to say we can't do it? No, we're great at it, we can do it. But do we need to continue doing it? Not necessarily. Or just the high quality, high hardened, whatever we do for aerospace and all that area. Building material? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Just like when you ran the State Department, $6 billion was missing. How do you miss $6 billion? You ran the State Department, $6 billion was either stolen, they don't know. It's gone.
So here's a Trump line that's a bit overstated. It's one of his more bloviated type of comments. 6 billion didn't go missing. We didn't lose money. It didn't disappear. It's that the contracts that ended weren't closed out correctly in the ledgers and accounted for appropriately. This happens from time to time. Now understand though, the difference is that if a private entity that worked with the government did what the government did, that private entity probably wouldn't be accepted anymore for contracts or any work in the future, or possibly be fined. So the fact that the government can lose $6 billion is kind of a big deal, and by lose I mean in the paperwork, of course.
I was wondering what happened with my rally in Chicago and other rallies where we had such violence. She's the one in Obama that caused the violence.
The violence in Chicago is bigly their fault. Seriously though, like the fact that there are people who are democratic and are going to such lengths to create civil unrest scares the crap out of me. I mean, regardless of what you think about Hillary, Hillary's probably not that bad of a person. The fact that she's propped up with all these really evil people really kind of freaks me out. And I know people give Republicans a bad name, but they're not going out and doing this. They largely don't do this.
They bigly don't do
They bigly don't do this.
And I didn't even apologize to my wife, who's sitting right here, because I didn't do anything. I didn't know any of these women. I didn't see these women. These women, the woman on the plane, the woman, I think they want either fame or her campaign did it. And I think it's her campaign.
Which is just like that time I bought Leia those flowers and I said, this is because you deserved it, not because I've done anything wrong.
Those stories have been largely debunked. And I really want to just talk about something slightly different. She mentions this, which is all fiction, all fictionalized, probably or possibly started by her and her very sleazy campaign. But I will tell you, what isn't fictionalized are her emails, where she destroyed 33,000 emails criminally.
Leia, who's winning the best transition of the debate game? Is it still Hillary with the open borders to Putin?
No, I think Trump just did it from what is he talking about right now?
It was women that he potentially mishandled to
emails.
To emails. Delete them emails. Just like molesting someone? What? What just happened?
Evidence, but there is a lot of evidence about the very good work
and it's a
and
criminal
the high
enterprise,
rankings that
and
the
so many people know it. It's a criminal enterprise. Saudi Arabia giving $25 million, Qatar, all of these countries. You talk about women and women's rights. So these are people that push gays off buildings. These are people that kill women and treat women horribly, and yet you take their money.
The problem I have here is the special treatment for particular investments within the Hillary's, what is it? The Clinton Foundation. Or through relief of the Haiti disaster. That bothers me, because if you're getting specialized treatment in contracts negotiation because of money you spent, well, how does that affect people who don't have money to spend on these contributions to whatever benefits or whatnot? I mean, that's not fair. We've set up a situation now where you have to have money to make money. You gotta be a part of the game to play the game. That is unfair, and we should totally resist that, both for Trump or Hillary. But Hillary is the perfect example from the Clinton campaign.
Of course, there's no way we can know whether any of that is true because he hasn't released his tax returns. He is the first candidate ever to run for president in the last 40 plus years who has not released his tax returns. So everything he says about charity or anything else, we can't prove it. You can look at our tax returns. We've got them all out there.
I understand the concern about tax returns and the displaying of tax returns is not a law. There's no law that requires anyone do that. He's not breaking any law, Trump, by not giving his tax returns. The giving tax returns up was something that Republicans did to fight off arguments that liberals made that the Republican candidates were not following tax law. So there's no point in providing evidence if there's no law being broken or don't make the case against yourself is my argument. I would say this to Hillary or Trump, that there's no point in offering up evidence to prove something either true or false where they have no actual evidence against you and there's no crime. If either one of them was guilty of a crime in the IRS's eyes, they would be brought up on charges. That is what we would expect.
He has not paid a penny in federal income tax. And we were talking about immigrants a few minutes ago, Chris. You know, half of all immigrants, undocumented immigrants in our country, actually pay federal income tax. So we have undocumented immigrants in America who are paying more federal income tax than a billionaire.
I hate this argument because illegal immigrants didn't put in $1 billion that they lost into the market. That wasn't lost money. People got paid. They had jobs. They went to work. Goods were purchased. Money exchanged hands. Maybe the sum total of illegal immigrants in Southern California spends $1 billion in the money they make. But the whole argument is just fraught with failure because it was $1 billion. Not one illegal immigrant is doing $1 billion worth of business in the United States. And let's ask them, particularly if they... El Chapo, particularly if they lose that money, like, what does that look like on their taxes? Like, they took it away, they hid it, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's apples and oranges. Don't fall for this.
You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him.
And therein lies one of my biggest problems with the Donald. He is so involved with himself, and that if people don't love him, the system or the establishment or something must be rigged. It's not that people just can't love him or like him or want to support him. It's that the game must be rigged against him. Huge character flaw. Huge character flaw.
We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election.
We must accept realities? Gore didn't accept realities. They fought that for a long time in Florida.
You're here at home, we don't let terrorists buy weapons. If you're too dangerous to fly, you're too dangerous to buy a gun. And I'm going...
No fly, no buy is a bad decision if you are pro-gun or anti-gun, because it is anti-due process, and that's more important to the liberals, I think, than gun rights is. They're giving up due process because of that bad idea.
And yes, we do need to go after Baghdadi, and just like we went after bin Laden while you were doing Celebrity Apprentice, and we...
So before this whole election business, she wanted to be on a Celebrity Apprentice, so she's a little snubbed. She feels a little bad about it.
Iran is taking over Iraq. We don't gain
Secretary
any.
Clinton.
We would have gained if they did it by surprise.
Wait. Secretary Clinton, it's an open discussion.
He
We would have gained if they did it by surprise.
What did I just watch? It was like a total meltdown of the decorum of debate. Hillary's talking and just spewing these repetitive things. Trump is trying to respond. I'm not saying he's doing a good job at it. And the moderator's trying to get some level of control back. Like, I don't know that I've been alive for a debate that melted down the way that this did right now. What's the...
This is actually respectful in comparison to the first two.
No, that whole meltdown part where they're screaming at each other over the top of each other? No way. No way. No. No. I'm going to back it up. I'm going to back it up.
Bernie Sanders said you have bad judgment. I agree with both.
Well,
That is literally what I call a 1-2 punch. He goes, WikiLeaks, crap, crap, crap.
Bernie Sanders says you're
crap,
lacking
crap, crap.
judgment. And the comment was, Hillary Clinton's judgment clearly lacking. That's a true statement.
well, you should ask Bernie Sanders who he's supporting for president, and he has said,
Which is
as
a
he
big
has
mistake.
campaigned for me around the country, you are the most dangerous person to run for president in the modern history of America. I think he's right.
It always gets me when people refer to Trump as one of the most dangerous people or something,
So dangerous.
or how dangerous it will be when he becomes president.
People will be dying in the streets. People will be dying in the streets, Leia.
I don't know where this idea comes from, because on the flip side, they say he's failed at everything he's ever done. So how can he be successful at doing horrible things?
Right. How is he immediately going to be pulling people in the streets and getting them murdered when he's horribly unsuccessful in everything he's ever done? One or the other.
You can't
What is
have
it?
it both ways.
Right. He's not Hitler. This is not Mein Kampf.
Right.
Right. What is it? Pick one. Don't just... Good point.
Turn to Aleppo. Mr. Trump.
Was that just a jab at Gary Johnson? What's the point of that? Let's see. Aleppo. What is the possible point why we should go into Aleppo? Why are we there? How does it benefit the country? Are we just blowing money? What is the point? Gary Johnson believes in small government. I would agree with him. Why are we there?
That's not what Gary Johnson said, though. Gary Johnson said, what is Aleppo?
Right, but it doesn't matter. Because he's focused on something else. He doesn't care about Syria. It's not a part of his platform. That's the point. Like,
So-
if the
So
foreign...
you would argue that Gary Johnson doesn't even need to know what's going on? He's just going to flat out ignore the information?
No, I'm not saying he's going to ignore information. I'm saying that you have people whose job it is to focus on that stuff. He's most concerned about reducing the size of the government and reducing the debt. That's the largest job. That's the most important job he has.
With my
We've heard
dad
this
as a small
before, Hillary.
businessman.
We've heard
And
this before.
I think it's, you know,
Secretary
it's a
Clinton.
difference that affects how we see the world and what we want to do with the economy.
Time.
Thank you, Hillary. Could I just...
Thanks a lot, Hillary. Leia was just saying that is the reason why so many people like Trump is how he talks like that. Nobody's really ever spoken to other candidates, even...
Ever.
Well, they did. They used to, but it was back when, like, Jefferson was going against Hamilton for president. Like, understand, we don't come from a country of where... I mean, Jefferson called Hamilton a hermaphrodite and used all kinds of really sexual words to depict Hamilton, and Hamilton had equally horrible words for Jefferson. But the point is that, like, we've come back to, like, really visceral, angry politics, which is where the country started, understand, but amazing, like, that is some...
People think that it means that he's not in cahoots with the political game. The fact that he's breaking lines and not playing the double-speak game
Sure.
is what people really like.
Right, because he doesn't take his time to think about what he's saying, he just throws it out there. Yeah.
He doesn't worry about being offensive. He doesn't
Right.
worry about potentially how something he says that is outright offensive to the other candidate
Right.
will come back and bite him later on.
Because he doesn't care, it's already done. Like, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that this is not changing anybody's mind. He doesn't care if he's wrong. He doesn't care if he made false truths. He doesn't care because he said it, it's true. In that moment, it's true. Because nobody's fact-checking.
Actually, I think that what his fearlessness comes from the fact that he doesn't care whether or not he has a career in politics. He's already very wealthy.
Right.
This
That's
is like
also
a
true.
hobby to him.
Right, right.
This is a real fun hobby.
This is a fun time, guys. I had a great time. And then when he's done, he's done. He either gets it and he has a longer hobby, or who cares? Yeah,
And
good
people
point.
like that now. I mean, think about how people look at the attitude of win at all costs. What you want
Right.
in so many businesses, what people want to see is you're doing that because you really love to do it, and who cares whether or not I make money at it. It's like, I'm going to do my hobby and I'm going to love it, and it doesn't matter whether or not I become wealthy off of this. He doesn't care about succeeding.
He cares about succeeding from the nation.
But I want to respond to what Donald said about refugees. He's made these claims repeatedly. I am not going to let anyone into this country who is not vetted, who we do not have confidence in. But that does not solve our internal challenges with ISIS and our need to stop radicalization, to work with American Muslim communities who are on the front lines to identify and prevent attacks. In fact, the killer of the dozens of people at the nightclub in Orlando, the Pulse nightclub, was born in Queens, the same place Donald was born.
I don't know what Hillary just tried to do right now. The Pulse killer was born in Queens, where Donald was born. So what? What does that have to do with anything?
She's literally trying to align the image of Trump with other killers.
But what is
Because he
Queen?
is
That's more to do with Queens than Trump, right? Trump didn't make him a killer. Queens made him a killer.
Right, but that's not...
What's the point?
That's not the thing. What she was saying is, this person is a killer. Trump has things in common with a killer.
Oh, Jesus.
Trump could be a killer.
No way. No.
That's exactly what she just did.
No, that's crazy.
Why else would she say that? Why else would she bring up a mass murderer and then say, born at this place, also where Trump was born? That's irrelevant where the guy was born, aside from the fact that it puts something in common between Trump and a mass murderer.
Other than she was trying to humanize the refugees. I'm guessing that's the only way I can spin that.
The refugees.
That they're just, people here are just as evil as potential refugees could be. I don't know.
No, we need to move on to our final segment, and that is the national debt, which has not been discussed until tonight.
If Chris Wallace is talking accurately, this is the first time the GDP and the national debt has been brought up on any of the debates. This is the third debate, the last debate, and in the last segment of the last debate, they're talking about the debt. That's sickening. This is why a third party needs to be in the debates. This is exactly the reason, because the conservatives want to spend your money, tax money. The liberals want to spend your tax money. No one is saying, let's stop spending tax money. No one is saying, stop doing this. This is insane. This whole, well, under your plan, it would be 78% of the GDP. Under your plan, it would be 105% of GDP. No! This is insanity. We need to cut, oh my God. This is why. This is why I say, let Johnson debate. Let someone debate. Someone, anyone, particularly someone that's a little more protective of the GDP, protective of our debt. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They just want to throw arrows at each other. They're not actually asking, how do we make it better? Not, your plan sucks. No, your plan sucks. My plan's better than yours. No, my plan's better than yours. Well, who cares if it's a 1% better? It needs to be swaths and like orders of magnitude better. It's frustrating.
Well, first, when I hear Donald talk like that and know that his slogan is "Make America Great Again," I wonder when he thought America was great. Sure. How we're going to get the cost of prescription drugs down and a lot of the other issues that people talk to me about all the time. I've made it very clear, we are going where the money is. We are going to ask the wealthy and corporations to pay their fair share. And there is...
Pay their fair share. If it's not the gun show loophole, it's the pay their fair share argument. And I'm tired of hearing it. It doesn't mean anything. Pay their fair share. What does that mean? Today's fair share is not the same as tomorrow's fair share, or every subsequent fair share when we open up the concept of rich people paying more money. Well, who's rich? Well, these people. Well, what if that changes? Well, then these people are now rich. Like, it's this moving scale of, and she said, go where the money is. Okay, we already do that. We've been doing that, and that's not bailing our debt out. We're not getting out of debt by going after people with the money. We already have a progressive tax. So what does that mean? Well, we need more tax money. And then she says, well, there's no evidence that people will leave the country or stop doing business or whatever. They already do that. They're already doing that at the state level. That's already happening. When the state's taxes go up, people go and do business in other counties, or they move to another state, etc., etc. So what does that mean when it comes to the federal tax goes through the roof? Well, are they not just going to go to another country? Is that not pushing businesses out? She claims there's no evidence for that. Well, how do you know? Because it hasn't happened yet, other than it has, in the sense that taxes have already been really high, and people have left the country. Why are there factories in Mexico? Why are there factories in wherever else places that they have them? Because it's not profitable to do business in the United States for manufacturing. That's it. Why? Regulation and taxes. That's the reason. And probably the unions.
Is the fact that the biggest driver of our debt is entitlements, which is 60% of all federal spending. Now,
what's the fastest way to turn an elderly conservative into a Democrat? Threaten to take away their entitlements. That's a joke. I don't know if there's there's a punchline in there somewhere. But this is huge. I can't wait to see where this goes. The entitlements are... I just want to watch. We're just going to watch.
I'm cutting taxes. We're going to grow the economy. It's going to grow at a record rate.
But that's not going to help an entitlement.
It's going to totally help you. And one thing we have to do, repeal and replace the disaster known as Obamacare. It's destroying our country. It's destroying our businesses, our small business, and our big businesses.
Okay, this was a seriously poor answer by Trump. Entitlements are their own problem. If you get more taxes because more people are working, that helps to pay them, but that doesn't necessarily help fix the system in its state that it exists in now. We have some of the largest generations that are growing up right now, and just the fact that they're growing up and going to go in the job market is good as far as these entitlements. But when they themselves become older, they're going to have to then be paid out in these entitlements. If the argument is right, Wallace's comment is right, that Medicare starts running out of money in the 20s, and Social Security runs out of money in the 30s, which I think is earlier than that. I don't know that that's true, particularly because the boomers really start hammering it between the 18s and the 20s. The whole thing just doesn't make any sense. And saying that we're just going to get rid of Obamacare and that's going to solve the problem, that's playing it too light. There needs to be more work there. Better work done in the future, although... Anyway.
Well, Chris, I am on record as saying that we need to put more money into the Social Security Trust Fund That's part of my commitment to raise taxes on the wealthy.
And then you have Clinton, who comes out swinging with, I'm going to pay for Social Security by taxing the wealthy. At least that's an argument. At least that's something you can get behind if you agree with that. But how does that help? Like, what is that actually doing? That's curtailing, that's stepping on, again, going back to the comment on the GDP. If the wealthy are the people that create the jobs, and they have to pay more to pay for the Social Security, which pays for the people that work for them, then what reason do they have to continue being wealthy? It's a real argument, and nobody really justifiably sits down and says, oh, well, they're going to continue doing it because that's their human nature. The human nature is to continually make money. Well, their human nature is to continually make money and then squirrel it away and hide it and create deductions and do the things that Donald Trump has done and that he's being lambasted for. So you're just going to create more shifty business when it comes to this kind of stuff, particularly when you start raising the taxes on the very wealthy.
No, if you are somebody...
Nobody hears you in there. I'm going back here. I'm going to reuse a word. I'm not going to use shifty to describe what the rich would do. I'm going to use savvy to describe what the rich will do. They will use the law and stay within the bounds of the law by hiring tax people to sort out their wealth so that they don't have to pay as much in taxes. That's going to happen. It already is happening. Raising taxes will only make more of that. You can't ever squash it all down.
That our Medicare problem gets worse. What we need to do is go after the long-term.
I'm not going to say that Trump won the debates in any... I don't think either person won. No, I take that back. Clinton and Trump both won. We all lost. We all collectively lost. But those stupid one-liners, your husband disagrees with you, just cracked me up. I don't know why. It just cracked me up. What an ass. What a complete ass.
Well, I would like to say to everyone watching tonight that I'm reaching out to all Americans, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, because we need everybody to help make our country what it should be, to grow the economy, to make it fairer, to make it work for everyone. We need your talents, your skills, your commitment, your energy, your ambition. You know, I've been privileged to see the presidency up close. And I know the awesome responsibility of protecting our country and the incredible opportunity of working to try to make life better for all of you. I have made the cause of children and families really my life's work. That's what my mission will be in the presidency. I will stand up for families against powerful interests, against corporations. I will do everything that I can to make sure that you have good jobs with rising incomes, that your kids have good educations from preschool through college. I hope you will give me a chance to serve as your president.
So that was generally a really good final statement by Hillary. At not one time did she mention Donald Trump. She focused on her skills. She didn't focus on any of the negativity. Said that she knows the presidency from having been in the White House before. I just can't believe that we are very close to having Bill Clinton back in the White House. Is that not crazy to you? Like,
people love Clinton.
I get that, but is that not crazy to you?
No.
You don't even think about that? All right, Slick Willie, back in the Oval Office.
She's raising the money from the people she wants to control. It doesn't work that way. But when I started this campaign, I started it very strongly. It's called Make America Great Again. We're going to make America great. We have a depleted military. It has to be helped, has to be fixed. We have the greatest people on earth in our military. We don't take care of our veterans. We take care of illegal immigrants, people that come into the country illegally, better than we take care of our vets. That can't happen. Our policemen and women are disrespected. We need law and order, but we need justice too. Our inner cities are a disaster. You get shot walking to the store. They have no education. They have no jobs. I will do more for African Americans and Latinos than she can ever do in 10 lifetimes. All she's done is talk to the African Americans and to the Latinos. But they get the vote, and then they come back. They say, we'll see you in 4 years. We are going to make America strong again, and we are going to make America great again, and it has to start now. We cannot take 4 more years of Barack Obama, and that's what you get when you get her.
Not great there, Trump. All he did was really talk about how she can't do something, and pointed out that illegal immigrants get taken care of better than veterans, which I think is proven as false. And that's kind of insulting. It's kind of insulting to both the systems that we pay for to protect our troops, although there are people who fall through the holes and the cracks. I'm not going to say that that's not the case, but that illegal immigrants get some kind of like amazing service by coming here. They really don't. They get preyed upon by people that use them as cheap labor and all this other stuff. So it's not great for any group, but to pit the two groups together is disingenuous and shitty. I don't like the any comment from Trump. I think Hillary did a better job. Straight up Naptown.
While millions have already voted, Election Day, November 8th, is just 20 days away. One thing everyone here can agree on, we hope you will go vote.
Guys, less than 20 days before we have to vote on one of these turd sandwiches. That is... I just want it to be over. I just want it to be over so bad. And I want the next 4 years to be over. I just want to like...
It's 11 more weeks until Christmas.
Oh my God. Guys, listen, if there was ever a reason, if you're in a swing state, if that makes the pill easier to swallow to vote for a third-party candidate, this is why. Voting third party will allow them to be involved in the debates in the future. And that's competition. Competition is good. We want competition. Please think about that in the future. We need more competition, because all we have is two people talking about how best to spend your money and why their idea to spend your money is not good and my idea to spend your money is better. Like, please do something different. Make a change. Anything else? You got final comments here, Leia?
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Oh, Jesus.
What other cheesy things can I say?
Think outside the box with solving the government's problems.
Isn't it kind of sick how actually what the government comes down to now is big business? What is it going to fund? Who's going to make money off of...
Who's the winners and who's the losers?
Yeah.
They make regulation that picks winners and picks losers.
Yep.
That's what we have. That's what they're pitching for. We need less of that. We need less regulation. None of those two assholes talked anything about regulation. They don't care. They want more they want regulation for the things that they care about. They want to pick winners and create losers. Please, let's stop this craziness. All right. So that's going to do it for the 2016 debates. We are done. I am done. I am thankful for that is over. Guys, if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. If you have not already, please subscribe. And if this was cool to you, please put it up in your socials there. I'd love it if you put the part 1, part 2 up as a little series. You know, tease it out a little bit. Think about it. Your sharing has helped. I've seen like an improvement on subscribers and all kinds of stuff. That's awesome. It means a lot to me and it's really appreciated. So again, thank you so much. And we will talk to you tomorrow. So what are we doing tomorrow? Tomorrow, we mukbang. We have a good mukbang planned, a proper American mukbang for anybody who's Korean that watches this channel. All right, we'll see you then. Take it easy.